And actually, before I go over the names of the different shapes, I wanted to show you one more type of chart that can be made. We can instead of making a histogram, you could make a table called a frequency table, and it really just shows the same information as the histogram. Let's do that for the number of units column. If you wanted to make a frequency table instead of a histogram, you would make one column that says X, and then another column that would have an F for frequency. In the X column, we would list all of the different values that we had on the x-axis. So if we want to do it for number of children first, these three values appeared in the number of children column. So we had these three values on the x-axis. So we would put 0, 1, and 2. And then, since we're creating a frequency table for the number of children column, we would list all of the frequencies for the number of children column. And the frequency of 0 was 2, so we would just put 2 right here. The frequency of 1 was 1, so we'll put a 1 right here. And then the frequency of the value of 2 was 2 because the bar went up to 2. So in this table, in the X column, we just have all the numbers that are on the X-axis. And in the F column, we just have the frequencies, which are just the heights of all of the bars. This is just saying that this bar had a height of 2, this bar had a height of 1, and this bar had a height of 2. So it's just taking the histogram and making it into a table, and it's called a frequency distribution table. So this is the frequency distribution table for number of children. If we created a frequency distribution table for number of units, it would look similar to this. The X column would have 12, 13, 14, and 15, and the frequency column would have, well, looks like the bars are 2, 2, 0, and 1. So it would, in the F column, it would be 2, 2, 0, 1. Let's create the frequency distribution table for age. In this table, the X column would actually show the intervals, since we were dealing with intervals and not whole numbers. So in the X column, we would start with 15 to 19. Then we would have 20 to 24. And then we would have 25 to 29. I might run out of room. I had barely enough room. In the F column, we'll just have the frequencies, which are the heights of the bars. We had 1. We had 2 right here. Then we had 0 right here, because we had no bar at all. Then we had 1, 0, 1. And there's actually some different terms that can be used for these types of tables and graphs. We could actually use some more specific terms. We could call these two we would just call them histograms. And this one over here could be called a grouped histogram because we have groups of numbers down here. And this table for number of children could just be called a frequency distribution table. And this one could be called a grouped frequency distribution table since we have groups of numbers. But you don't have to use those specific words if you don't want to. I mean, it would also be correct to just call all of these histograms and to call all of these frequency distribution tables. Now we'll actually talk about the different types of shapes that can be seen in histograms and what the names are. And one advantage of creating a histogram instead of just a table is that in a histogram, you can actually see the shape more clearly. The shape becomes more obvious in a histogram compared to in a table.